can see the preparation that's required here. It's interesting work, facade work. You know, you can see that the entire building has been covered. And this is good for you to see this, because you can see the entire building on the old part's been covered in this reinforcing mesh. There's two types of mesh. You have the nylon, thick nylon mesh here, and then you've got a sort of a thinner white nylon mesh here. And what this is doing is it's providing reinforcing for the facade final coat. This is the undercoat that's gone on over the top of this this reinforcing mesh here, which is then embedded in the surface. Obviously you've not had the option to do this underside here, so you'll have to paint that yourselves later, but it's a cost saving obviously, which I understand given the constraints on budget, etc. And you can see with the beginning of the render, bringing unifying the two buildings, it'd be very difficult to tell when it's finished. Very difficult to tell which is the new and which is the old. Of course, up until now it's been pretty obvious which is which. See, on the new facade here, on the new blockwork, you don't need the reinforcing, so the undercoat just goes straight onto the blockwork. So, good progress. You can already see, even at this undercoat stage, how the two buildings becoming unified visually. You can see here we've got the expansion joint in place here. This will be visible in the surface of the final surface. We can't render over that because it's the point where the two buildings meet, and in there we have a polystyrene expansion joint which runs through the whole of the building, so you'll see that. But you can see here this reinforcing mesh here. Very important when you're renovating. It's an option for cost saving to take that out. And the contractor is actually losing money on this facade, because we've had a discussion about the way we price future facades. We're going to make it clear it's an estimative, because what's happened here is at the onset of the project, we've given a price, and then the actual job price is far more work than was anticipated in the original price here. For instance, the whole of this building here, in discussion with the facade, has needed to be covered in this mesh, and the price is just not the same. So you benefited from my forcing the contractor to accept it. I completely understand the whole argument around it's in the contract and all the rest of it. But I think you've done pretty well on this project, considering the considering the gains that we've managed to swing here for you. It looks really good. But for future projects, I'm not going to try to cost the facade in any estimatives up front. I'm going to wait until I can get the definitive cost. Or what I'll do, which is what I should have done and what we've discussed with the contractor, is we should have overestimated this and then had the payback in one value, rather than underestimating it and then having to ask for plus value, which is a problem. So I think in the future that's what we'll do: overestimate it, grossly overestimate it for risk, and then pay back the difference in MV.